Yo, boy,
Hey, Tom.
what's up? You good?
I'm good, man. How you doing? Yeah.
Good, man. What's eating good?
Nothing, man. I just want you to, in the last chats that we've had, you brought this up, and I personally don't know it that well. So I think it's just about time, Jay, I actually learn it and stop being ignorant, and to be
Yeah.
able to identify when it is happening myself. Hey,
Mm,
no, man, let me not and understand why it is such a bad thing as well.
yeah. What do you understand by identity politics then and tribalism?
Yeah.
What do you understand about identity politics and tribalism?
What I understand from it is you it's just like sexism in a way, where you're going just based on the group identity that that you guys classify yourselves under, and
Huh?
and you all act as though you have one common goal.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty much. I don't really know much about it.
yeah. Okay, so I'll explain to you how I see it. Um, okay, so identity politics is obviously politics that has to do with people's identity, right? And that links very close to um, intersectionality or the intersectionality claim, right? So, I was actually thinking about how I was going to sum it up very easy, so that it makes sense. But so it's basically that everyone is part of a certain group, right? And these groups that we're part of are unlimited, right? Because they 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 shape us as to who we are, right? So you can have a lot of categories. You can have race, you can have gender, you can have height, you can have weight, you can have nationality, you can have class, you can have degree or no degree, you can have vaccinated and not vaccinated. It just keeps on going, and more groups kind of get brought up, right? So I remember the last time even telling you that. Sorry, I remember the last time telling you as well that like the game only works when you're the victim, right?
Mhm.
So that's what it's predicated on. So with all those groups that you're part of as a person, right? If you're the victim, right, then all of a sudden you take that victimhood from that group. So for example, if you're a black male of a certain size, let's say you're 100 kgs and you're 1/8 tall, right? And then you're of a middle class and all those things. You then might say, oh, okay, well, you know what? Out of all these groups that I'm part of, let's say there's six or five of them, I'm a victim in them, right? Which is true, right? What the which is why this whole thing is enticing because it's true that you're the victim. You black, so perhaps you're a victim of apartheid, or you a descendant of that, right? Um, you're middle class, so therefore you're a victim of whatever the hell happens to middle class people, right? Maybe tax is harder on them than it is on lower class people, for example, right? So you can make yourself a victim out of any of those groups, right? And then I can do the same, or another person can do the same. So if you're a female, for example, and you're middle class and you don't have a job, right? And you have a child, for example, right? And of a certain nationality, you can then be a victim from, say, violence against yourself. So violence from men, you're a victim because you're a female, right? And then you're a victim also because you are middle class again, right? And then you're a victim again because you don't have a job. So you're a victim because you don't have any background or anything to fall back on, for example, right?
Mm.
So in all those things, all those slices of the cake, that you can divide yourself in, you're a victim. So therefore, you're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna then create a group. That's how movements start, right? I'm gonna create a group, and then in these movements, I'm going to then explain to people why I'm a victim, right?
Okay, so then what's the difference with that and saying that we are just marginalized and we just happen, like we just saying that, you know what, this is something that's happening. Um, we are a victim of a certain, let's say, like crime. Let's say GBV, women are the ones that are targeted for these crimes the most or whatnot. Okay, so
Yeah.
so how do you say how do you distinguish the difference from that being just protest and raising awareness to it actually being group politics and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, let me just finish up, and then I'll answer your question in that thing that I'm explaining now. So again, so you look at all these slices of a cake, and then you divide yourself into six groups, right? Yourself, I'm in six different groups. Someone else is in eight. Someone else is in. It's unlimited, and it changes every single time because every time there's a new victim. Every time there's a new victim, right? So every single time it changes even in different places and in different areas. So,
Yeah.
for instance, there as a black male, maybe in South Africa, you might not be a victim. Maybe then in America, you're a victim. You understand? So even in places, your group identity or whatever slice that you categorize yourself in can change, right? Or maybe you're not a you were maybe we're a victim. Same with like say if you're young, right? You don't have money, but when you're old, you have money. You understand? So also that over time as well, that changes.
Mhm.
Exactly, right? So anyway, so now the thing is, everyone can then be a victim, and everyone is most probably is a victim, right? But now the issue is
Yeah.
that then the question then lies, oh, well, the question then is, then who's the perpetrator and who's the victimizer? Because if everyone's a victim, then clearly there are no victimizers, right? But then the answer to that is you're also a victimizer. You're also an oppressor. Because again, if you look at all those slices that you're talking about, at one point or another, you're going to be a victimizer. So again, as a black male, for example, you might be okay, cool. I'm a victim because I'm black. But then as a male, you're now a victimizer because females then say you're abusing them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same same with the female. So same with the female, for example, if it's a black female, perhaps it's the fact that maybe they're black. Let's say they're black. Okay, they're victims because yeah, they're victims for whatever way that they want to be victims of, and then they're female, so they're victims against male. Oh, okay. Well, how about the fact that you're slender, for example, or that you're middle class or upper class? Now all of a sudden you're a victimizer to someone else as well. You see? So you can
Yeah.
multiply this thing so many times that you will then definitely find that you're a victimizer as well as a victim, right? So
Yeah, it's
politically,
also in order to rebalance the scale, sometimes you're gonna have to be the oppressor at that stage. So
yeah,
it has to keep changing and revolving around. Yeah.
yeah. So now this is the problem, is that then if you're gonna fight for what you are victimized of so much, right, against the people that are victimizing you, you now have to also understand that at one point or another the people that you're victimizing are going to come back and do the same to you. You understand? So that's the problem with
That's
that, is the fact
exactly what
that
I'm hearing.
yes, so that's the problem with it, is the fact that then you go against people so much that you, because you feel as though you're the victim, so you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to please erase all men, right? That's how angry you are at men because you're the victim. So therefore, it's like, yeah, we should listen to you, and it's fair enough. Maybe you're the victim, bro, right?
And
But
during
only on
protest,
that.
that is justified. During protest, that is
Yeah,
justified.
Yes, exactly. Which was the talk that we had last time. We said, yeah, for sure, there are people that are justified. I mean, there are people that are victims, and everyone is probably a victim on some level or another. But the problem is then if everyone is a victim, who's the perpetrator? And that the answer to that is also that everyone is a perpetrator, right? So
Okay.
you can go and protest for what you want. Fair enough. That's not the issue here. The issue is not the fact that you're not a victim, because you are a victim and you're supposed to speak out if you're a victim. Okay, wait, I'll call you back.
Cool.